Hello, this is Aditya, and today's topic is the stories we tell ourselves. Our perception of life is basically the sum total of all the stories we keep on telling ourselves. Inside our heads, we keep on telling ourselves different stories. Stories are basically what our brain understands and works with pretty much all the time. It's quite fascinating how we expect respect from a work or a position that we no longer even hold just because we have been holding that positions in our brain somewhere. So we keep telling that story where we are respected always. It's funny how we create a devil out of someone just to fit it into our story of self victimization and self sabotage. Human beings are, in fact, great storytellers of their own respective lives. And gosh, no one, and I repeat, no one can surpass them at this skill. This wonderful skill of being able to construct a flawless tale around our own existence is such a great gift to humanity that almost anything make believe can be created out of nothing, just based upon one's imagination and this subtle art. Now, human beings as they are, can you expect them to do a good job out of it? Yes, you got it right. They mess it up like everything good that has been handed to them. They mess it up to such an extent that this very ability turns into a disaster for them. They begin to create a story filled with self victimization and thereby beginning to justify each and every reason of discomfort and pain to something out there rather than seeing them as they are. Slowly, a self destructive narrative is created in the process. And the self destructive process sort of begin to work as a self repetitive automatic process. This is what I call the individual matrix. Yes, you heard it right. It is a matrix pre programmed by your own mind to continue in a certain way by creating thousands of narratives around your own lives aimed at avoiding and dodging suffering and pain, thereby reinforcing ever more strongly the cocoon of comfort and privileges around our lives, which we dare to term as our success and our happiness. We deep fear a rising of self denial in our hearts, the fear of self confrontation that literally is the most feared thing on this planet today, maybe only next to the fear of death itself, is being totally avoided. Now, where's the question of facing life when we can't even dare to face ourselves, to face the lucrative stories that we have so artificially designed around our fragile existence? Where is the question of growing through life when we have become such great experts in dodging pain rather than facing it? Well, there can be no question of growing in sense of experience, in sense of wisdom, in sense of realization. When we are so caught up and even entangled deeply in a messy cobweb of a matrix, what we have programmed so expertly to numb ourselves down to the point of almost a state of passive, repetitive, unconscious way of life. Bad news is that we can end up wasting our lives entirely dedicated to this matrix of self sabotage. And the good news, however, is that we are entirely in control of creating a totally new narrative, a new story at each and every point in our lives. We can replace the self destructive matrix with a self empowering one. And guess what? It begins to show results just in the same way that the bad one did. The mechanics of the thing always remains the same. It is totally us, the conscious force in existence, that can willfully change, amend, and reconstruct one's whole life based on the simple principle of the individual matrix. You are free and you are independent of any influence in regards with creating your own narrative. You can might as well create any narrative and it works just as fine in any given scenario. Everything sounds great, right? The only bummer here though is that you already know all of this stuff before. You have heard it, seen it in the movies, videos, read it in the articles, or if not, then a deeper, observant, subconscious part of you somewhere, somehow already knew all of it. Then why the hell are you not doing anything about it? Let me guess. Pretty simple, really. It is the same reason why 90% of the population end up creating self destructive life matrices in their lives and not the self constructive ones. Because it is difficult, period. Creating a self empowering matrix is a difficult task. And guess what? We don't like difficult things. Newsflash for you guys, nothing is changing until we change ourselves. I never promised you it's gonna be easy, but when you really, I mean, really want to do something out of your heart or out of your gut or whatever you call it, then why stay stuck in one place? Why not go all the way? Thank you guys for listening to this podcast and see you in the next podcast. Thank you and all the best up to then.